Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and today we are hanging out doing a little news cap review. I had it up on the screen there for a second, but today Games Workshop announced that they are doing their next Cities of Sigmar unit. Let me get some music playing. I don't know why that didn't happen. But if you're new to this, I used to do these a long time ago, and I'm trying to get back into it, where essentially, for those of us who are on the road or unable to stop and actually read the Warhammer community articles, or just don't like reading them, I used to go through the news quite a bit and share stuff for AOS, and I really wanted to start doing this again, and that was exactly when 40k 10th started to like dominate everything. Anyway, we're here now. Let's talk about this. So we got Rotoyo, hey buddy, in the chat, and so if you have any thoughts over the things that we cover, please go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'll be taking a break here and there to just kind of discuss some opinions. So here we go. Dawnbringer previews. The Free Guild Marshal leads from the front, which is already what I want. I already want my heroes up there doing stuff. And the Free Guild stuff, to me, let's just pause here for a hot second and talk about Free Guild. If you don't remember, they initially came out and didn't have any army rules, just like everything else in AOS. And then for one General's Handbook, it might have been 2017 or 18 maybe, they gave them these great rules where if you had a general, a Free Guild general, they could essentially like whip the unit together and make them fight harder and have them like give them bonuses based on how many dudes are in the unit, or have them like cover for each other. Like if you charge one unit, one in the back, and like Overwatch kind of deal. They've been all over the place. And so I'm happy to see specifically that Free Guild stuff is on the docket when it comes to Cities of Sigmar. It's my favorite, and it's had the longest kind of run, I think, in all of the various iterations of Cities of Sigmar as we know it. So, with that in mind, I have seen army rules come and go. Hades says the current Free Guild General on foot has great rules. He really feels like an actual general. Awesome. That's fantastic to see. The Dawnbringer Crusades sweeping out from the free cities recruit from vagabonds, militia, fanatics, and plain old regular folk, each of whom has taken the coin Malleus and pledged to reclaim the mortal realms from the forces of chaos. If you don't know, you can read the book Dominion by Darius Hinks, but essentially this is Sigmar's big push to recolonize. While chaos is distracted by death magic and now destruction is ascendant, we're going to get out there and stake some claim. And yeah, they're just recruiting everyone. The coin Malleus is sort of like a token to represent that you are now taking like a holy quest kind of a thing. But yeah, that's the idea. So those who trudge out into relentless hostility of the despoiled lands are destined to face rampaging iron jaws and roving warbands of chaos warriors that would test the willpower of even the most experienced warrior. Fortunately, steel-nerved Free Guild marshals are on hand to inspire discipline and issue stern commands. So we're going to scroll down here. Now, they did show a video. It's just different shots with some voiceovers, so I have the pictures pulled up on the top tab. We'll go through them as we move through the article here. Let's see, I'm going to look at the chat here. Sorry, there was some... Y'all got way ahead of me. Let's see. I want to see Harkuron Dawnbringer Crusade. New Age of Drukai expansion. That would be great. I would love that. Honestly, the next Daughters of Cain book, you know, they make them every 2 months now. They're all the same, copy press. Copy print, rather. So in that, I would love to see a specific Harkuron. But like... It has to be Free Guild rules, right? I think, not Free Guild, like a city-specific rules, but not like the temples. I don't know. I want it to be different, is what I'm saying. I agree. Free Guild and real dwarves. I would not mind a vagabond army. I love it. I love how many... Oh, options they have? Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, so let's start looking at the model. Y'all feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I will come back to the chat. And if you want me to read anything, just say @2plusstuff and it'll highlight it for me. So, looking at these models, the finest officers amongst the Dawnbringer Crusades are all trained by the military academies of their respective cities. respectives cities. Typo. But few have hit the books as hard as Free Guild marshals. Each is a master tactician and a veteran combatant, and they bring these hard-won lessons to bear on the battlefield. So this is an interesting thing. So we're going to look here. Here's that picture kind of blown up, and I will zoom in further. Enhance. Okay, here we go. We have here what looks like... Actually, I'm going to read... So I'm going to leave this here. And then on my end, I can read the text, because it actually gives some good description of what these two are like. So that's your marshal right here, the guy who has all the hard-won experience. This guy looks... I mean... If a basso profundo voice could be a human, it would be this guy, which is just like pure manliness, just like the darkest depths of the voice. I love this guy. He looks exactly what I was hoping for with Cities of Sigmar, which is they look knightly, they look like humans that are ready for battle. They have ornamentation to their armor, but not in the same way. Like, I wanted it to be different from like the trim of Chaos, and this having the inlay go through the center of the armor rather than just the trim along the edges, I think is a great counterpoint, and more importantly, really easy to paint. Like, part of the appeal to me of Cities of Sigmar, or really any human faction, is simply their ability to be like, I know what this person is wearing because I generally know the human form, so I know what to paint this. Like, it makes it a little easier rather than like these weird esoteric monsters and demons, and you're like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why I should paint it. There's not too much detail. There's not too many gubbins. Yeah, no. It's cool. I dig it. So, that's him. We're gonna now read about the Relic Envoy, which is this character to the left with the human head in a box, which is it's a party gift I don't want. So here we go. The Relic Envoys who accompany these commanders are handpicked from the finest squires of the next generation of soldiers. These brave attendants risk their lives to run orders through the heat of combat, bringing their marshal's will directly to the front lines. What that sounds like to me is this is a new model iteration of, is it the general and the adjutant that you get right now? I think that's how you pronounce that, adjutant. But essentially you can project orders across the battlefield, which would be a very cool idea to tie that to a specific character rather than maybe having some crazy adjutants out there in the world. I love it. Let's see. I'm going to pause here on this model. Please leave your thoughts for these two. I'm just going to read here so I don't miss any. I'm going to finish that second line here because it still keeps describing the adjutant here. They also tend to carry some artifact or relic from their family line. Particularly morbid mementos may even be blessed with death rites, allowing the mummified heads of revered relatives to whisper advice or embarrassing anecdotes from beyond the grave. So, okay, they got a creepy party trick, which may be less useful in war. Awesome at quinceañeras, but it's cool. As far as the color schemes, I love them. Like, these are actually some of my favorite colors. I adore sort of this ochre kind of color over here on them with the head in the box. And then, I mean, that kind of dark red, it just screams awesomeness. And someone pointed out he would make a fantastic Chaos Lord on foot, I think. He's got to maybe clip the hammerhead and put like a more chaosy hammer. But, like, he's got a skull on the front of his uniform. You can maybe swap the helmet if you really feel special. Maybe get one with a top knot or something. But he's primed and ready to be a bad guy. I like him. Dr. D-Wave, I believe it's how it is. Doug, nice to see you again. We make videos for the 3rd edition Battle Tomes to see what the factions are up to in the era of the Beast. I'm going to slowly be doing that. I want to reapproach my lore videos in a different way now that I'm kind of back at it, and I have one for Sigmar that I'm recording today. The basic idea is, rather than just regurgitating the same information with higher quality videos, adding to each one of those faction playlists by going through what is the timeline of Age of Sigmar from this perspective. So, like, I'm starting with Sigmar because he's titular character, but for example, like the Seraphon are coming out. What's the history of the Mortal Realms to the Seraphon? And so that's the kind of general idea I'm going with. Those videos do take a lot more work on the note-taking end. So they will be out slower, but it gives me a way to talk about the same thing in a fresh way so I don't burn out and crash. I'm just gonna pick out the ones that are highlighted to me, so I can stay here, and then we'll move along in the article. Has there been any word that new cities of Sigmar will include elves or dispossessed models? Officially, I don't know. Unofficially, I have heard whispers that they are still in the book. How about that? I don't know that. I can't tell you unit by unit. I don't know, but Elec Man 24. I think the idea of Hark Huron subfaction, either for cities or Daughters of Cain, is more possible than you think. For one reason, the Underworld's warband, Grisel's Arenae, has the Hark Huron keyword. Oh yeah, I mean it is technically possible. Like now, there were supplements and stuff that had Hark Huron as a functional keyword. I more meant I just didn't want Hark Huron to be another kind of temple. Like I wanted it to be different than the other temples because of its history, kind of a thing. That's why I wanted it to be set apart. Not that they couldn't do it, but yeah, it has all the mechanically it's all there to do it. It's just a matter of I want them to emphasize the fact that this was like a city of Sigmar for a very, very long time. So yeah, we're gonna move on here. Let's see, where is the... I seem to have misplaced the actual article page. Here we go. Actually, I'll throw it back up here. So we'll go back in. We have our stuff about the Relic Envoys. We saw those. Free Guild Marshals and their Relic Envoys are just one aspect of the command structure that leads cities of Sigmar into battle. And they basically just punt you off to look at other articles. So let's look at the other options for this guy. So that's the boss guy, right? We have our classic angry Nordic-looking man with his giant hammer of justice. But then there's also a few iterations of him. Not only do we have the hammer and helmet, which I think looks dead sexy, we also have a sword and shield, as well as a pair of pistols. And these are like hand cannons, guys. This is awesome. I do think the hammer slaps. Ogren Mod, I'm kind of with you on that. I feel like there's nothing... When I look at this guy, okay, I'm going to try to word this the best way that I can. With the hammer and his pose and the helmet and his very tired look, nothing looks more Warhammer than this dude. Both in literal what he's wielding, but the utter absurdity of this guy just like running full swing into battle. I think he looks absurd in the right way. Over here, I feel the same... Generally speaking, about the shield guy. I do like him, but I don't know, maybe it's the orange that's kind of pulling my eye away. It feels like his stance doesn't have as much I don't know, he doesn't project deadliness the same way as Hammer Guy does to me. It doesn't. He looks more, I think, noble, maybe because he's behind the shield and the other one's behind the weapon, but I do like him. And then over here, like last but not least, a few people have mentioned the dual-wielding pistol guy is legitimate. I wonder if there's going to be different options based on... How do I want to word this? It's like options based on, like, do the different weapon options convey what the different types of generals specialize in? So, for example, is it just a matter of he gets two 12-inch attacks that are okay? Because that would be kind of meh. But if the gun marshal is really good at buffing ranged attack infantry, and these, you know, maybe the shield guy is good at buffing defense and the hammer guy is offense, that could be really cool. The hammer and shield being in the combat phase specifically, of course, but I don't know. I think there's that. I'm not saying there's going to be different rules attached to each weapon. Nothing in the article indicates that, but I would love it if it was a more important choice than a hero that you probably don't necessarily want in combat being in combat, or that hero standing 12 inches away from the combat with two pistols not contributing much. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of ways it could go with his rules. I would personally like it if he could support an army that's reflective of his personal style. Style being, you know, how they conduct warfare, ranged attacks, defensive maneuvers, or offensive ones. I think that could be a cool way to approach stuff. Let's sound off here. Which one would you be? Let's put aside the painting schemes. I'm just gonna stack them like this. Ah, curse you, Windows 10. Who would you be? For me, I have to go with Hammer Guy on top. I think the Pistolier makes a strong second. But I want him to do more than just be a small chump hero with 2 pistols. Like, he needs to do something, right? Meaningful with those guns. And maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, right now, aesthetically, he looks like the one who's going to do the least amount of work on the battlefield. And therefore intimidating. I don't know. I'm trying to measure these guys based on, like, if I was called into an office and one of these 3 dudes was on the other side of the desk, which one of them would make me pee my pants more? I think Hammer Guy, Pistolier, and then Sword and Shield Guy. I'm a sucker for a nice Warhammer, Hammer Guy. Yeah. Yeah, they do have quite a few number of heads. Actually, that's a good point. Dr. Clownicus brought up. They have 3 head options that we see. I mean, there might be more. I don't know. But these all look cool. I still think the one with the hammer is the best, where he looks the most war-torn and kind of haggard. When I think of a marshal, that's what I think of. Although this guy in the bottom left, he is also aged. His ears? No, I guess their ears are all kind of the same. I was like, for some reason on this angle, his ears look kind of pointier. And I was like, oh, no, that's not supposed to be an elf. But, and then I just think this guy looks really young. Which, it could work, you know, obviously. Lots of stories of young people getting command and making it work. Landgin can't really get an AOS net. They killed off Forge World. Nothing lasts forever. Not the things in your closet, not the people you love. We enjoy them while we have them. That's all. But I understand. I understand it puts a bad taste in your mouth, and if it's just a matter of like not liking the way a company manages their product, that's totally legit. Use the hammer, the bald head, get him open book from the Sisters range. Oh yeah, this open book. Yes, that's right. The guy holding the huge text in front of him. I didn't think about that. Would be a great arm replacement for him. In fact, with all their big heavy robes, a lot of the sister hands would work, I would imagine. That's an interesting point. Got an excellent warrior priest conversion. Oh yeah. Yep. And that's what I'm saying. When I said he's the most Warhammer, I'm thinking of like the classic warrior priest. Just, I don't know. He would even make, he's one of those models that I would buy just to paint gray and have as a statue. You know what I mean? Certainly the guy with the sword and shield would make a great statue. Alec man, I'd be most afraid of Sword and Shield man. He looks stoic yet pensive, like he's going to lead me into a trap I could have seen coming. That's fair. I get that. Okay, friends, we're going to go ahead and pop off for the day, but I wanted to do more and more of these little news bites. Let me know if you enjoyed them and what you would like to see out of them in the future. I'm happy to do this whenever they have good, juicy AOS news. It's just been a lot of 40k lately, which I'm also happy to report on because I am getting into 40k as well. Not lore-wise, just personal hobby enjoyment, modeling project kind of stuff. So I will catch you all on the flip side. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you next time. Happy wargaming.